Hey guys, Chris Fix here. Today I'm going to show you how to flush your heater core safely using a garden hose. The reason why you would flush your heater core is because when you have the heat on and you put the fan on and the engine's warmed up, you're not really getting much heat. It might be a little bit warm or it might just be cold. So we can see the engine's up to operating temperature. The coolant is nice and warm. I'm going to put the heat on for the vent. The heat's on all the way. I'm going to put it up all the way. I have an instant read thermometer. I'm going to stick in the vent and we're going to see how hot this gets. Okay, after a few minutes of this running, it's at 125.5 and it's pretty much staying in that spot right there. So now we're going to go do a heater core flush and see if we could get that to increase. To find the two heater core hoses, you just go up to your engine, usually on the passenger side or in the middle of the firewall, which is this back wall here. You'll see two hoses going right into the firewall. In this case, you could see, here's 1 and 2. They're side by side, and that's what it's typically going to look like. Now that you located the heater core hoses, you want to try to find the inlet hose and the outlet hose. The inlet hose is the coolant going in, and the outlet hose is the coolant flowing out. You want to identify these hoses because you want to reverse flush. We're going to push the water in through the outlet hose. And the reason why we're going to do that is because the coolant's always running the normal direction, through the inlet hose. So if you reverse flow it, you're mixing things up, you're flushing things out. Now on this Mazda B3000 Ford Ranger, it's really simple. You just look for this heater control valve. This allows the coolant to flow into the radiator hose. So this one, my left side here, is going to be the inlet hose, and my right side here is going to be my outlet hose. So now that we identified that, we could begin. Now you want to make sure you're doing this when the engine is cool. You do not want a hot engine. You never want to touch the cooling system with the engine hot. So they make these little flush kits. They're $5 at your local hardware store. I'll put a link in the description to where you could get one of these. Now I'm not going to use that kit. What I'm going to use, I got this adapter from my local hardware store. So this is going to connect to my hose. You can see they're both the same type of end. So I'm actually going to use the little adapter that comes in that flush kit that I said you could get for $5. So now we have the hose connected to this 5/8 adapter here. So I have this clear hose. It's going to connect to this hose, and this clear hose is 5/8 inner diameter. So we're going to have to take off both of these hoses. They have these simple hose clamps that are on here, so get your pliers, squeeze that and slide it down. Okay. The garden hose is going to go into the outlet side, so we're going to do that first. Try not to make a mess, so just get this ready here and just pull this off. Get that on there. Now we're going to take off our inlet side and put our exhaust hose. It's the same exact hose, same exact diameter, it's just longer, and it's going to go right into this bucket. Remember, always recycle antifreeze in your coolant, and also keep it away from animals because they like to drink it. It tastes sweet and it'll kill them. We're going to take this off here. Good. Slide our exhaust hose on here. Okay. Now when your two hoses are on there, nice and tight, we're ready to flush. So now at the spigot here, you want to be very careful. This heater core doesn't get a lot of pressure. Most heater cores get maximum 10 psi of pressure from the water pump. So I definitely want to keep the pressure below 10 psi. So we're going to have the nice clean water coming in, and then the old dirty water coming out. So now I'm going to turn the hose on. You can see that's darker. Well, now it's kind of clear. It's pretty quick to pump this out. The heater core is not very large. So once your coolant bucket gets filled up, you should have clean water coming out of your hose. I'm gonna go shut the hose off. This looks really clean. Shut that off. Good. So we're back at the truck. Everything looks real clear. There's the dirty fluid that got flushed out of the heater core. You'd actually see little pieces floating around. Now I'm gonna disconnect our hose here. And now we're going to flush out the water that's in here. So I'm going to get a funnel and we're going to fill it up with antifreeze so that we don't have any water and we maintain our 50-50 mixture. So once we get some green fluid coming out of this hose right here, we're going to be done. Make sure you use the correct antifreeze that is recommended in your owner's manual. Okay. So you can see our exhaust hose now has the green antifreeze in it, and that means that our heater core is filled with 50-50 antifreeze. So now we're just going to disconnect our lines. Got that one off. Got the other one off. Remember to keep track of your hoses. This one with the heater control valve is on the inlet side. We're gonna connect it, make sure it goes all the way to the base, just like that. And we're gonna connect our other one. Make sure that goes all the way to the base. Get our pliers here. Slide the hose clamp all the way down. Slide that all the way down. And we're done. That's how you flush a heater core. Now we're gonna go for a ride and make sure the heat gets hot. Okay, the engine's at operating temperature. You can see the coolant is nice and hot. Just got back from a short drive. I have the heat on all the way, I have the fan on high like before, and the vent on just like before. And you can see here, it's at 150 degrees and still rising slowly. This is really hot compared to before where it was 125 degrees. So that's an increase of 25 degrees, and my heater core wasn't even that dirty. So I hope you guys get the same results. Let me know how you do with your heater core flush. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, remember to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not a subscriber, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. And the top tip for this video is, let's say you turn your hose on, the water goes in, but you're getting a little trickle out. Maybe nothing comes out, it's kind of just clogged. Shut your hose off. You're gonna wanna get some radiator cleaner. Just pour some of this in, right through your inlet hose, let it soak, and then connect your hose again after whatever, half an hour, 45 minutes, however long you want it to soak, and then try to flush that stuff into the system, and that should unclog it.